welcome to The Ticker, where we give you your daily dose of what's happening now.
So a lot of people really dug our 6 questions to ask the seller's agent when dealing with a short sale, so we figured we'd come up with a few more questions for you to ask. This is going to be for your buyer's agents to ask your buyers a couple of questions before you get too far down the road in a transaction or spending too much time or money with them if you know that they're not going to be able to do anything. So here's 4 questions you can ask them to make sure they are worth the time right now in getting them into a home.
And first up doesn't apply to all territories, but it does apply to some. In some areas, it might be cheaper for people to rent than it is for them to buy. And so you really need to make sure that you know your surroundings and you know how things are. And when you start talking to the client, just make sure that you're prevalent to the fact that a cheaper option for them could be renting. If that's the case, then you want to lead them down that road instead of continuing on with the home buying process, because that's a lot of steps and a lot of time and a lot of money in your case and in theirs.
Absolutely. The next question you're going to want to ask is going to be, how long do you plan on living here? And by here, we just mean the house that they're going to be buying or the place that they're going to be renting. Not really a good strategy for them to get into a house they're going to be needing to get out of in 6 months. Hook them up with a 6-month lease or something like that. We're not trying to talk you out of not getting clients, but what's important with these first 2 questions is to understand that sometimes it's better for you to be a resource and someone that they can recommend or refer you on because you've been so helpful and you weren't just trying to push them into a house, right? So make sure that you've asked them how long they plan on living where they're going to go, and make sure that the strategy you're trying to help them, get into is the right one for them.
They're going to appreciate that more in the end, that you were there for them in the beginning. And if they ended up doing a year lease and they bought a year later, they're definitely going to come back to you and buy from you. The next step is going to be, is your credit good enough? And that's the bottom line. It's not about getting good interest rates nowadays and how, buying down points or any of the issues that we had in the past. What it's about is just, can somebody qualify? A lot of people don't realize that, the credit guidelines have changed and the lending process has changed. Federal regulations and most lenders have really cracked down on things. So you have to be careful and make sure you've explained that process to them and make sure that they're going to qualify.
The next and last question you're going to want to make sure you ask is how much you can afford. You're not going to want to send them and walk with them through neighborhoods they can't possibly be getting a home for, and also making sure that they're not going to be strapped for cash come down the road. If they're spending absolutely the very last dime that they have to close on this home, a lot of times you're not putting them in the best position that you could put them into, if maybe you're getting them into a house that leaves them with a little bit of reserves. Again, it's all about making sure you have that right story for them to tell of you to make sure that you're shareable for referrals and then, of course, for them to come back to you in the future for their next home.
They'll thank you later if they get to keep their cable on.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, ridiculous. Anyway, guys, if this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe for free over on the side. And if you have any more questions that you like to ask your clients before you get too far along the process, be sure to leave them in the comment section down below so we can all check them out.
As always, you can check us out on Facebook, you can follow us on Twitter, and even hang out with us on Google+. Bye, guys.
Because that's what we do on the Ticker Show.
I'm so hungry. I am...
Really? I'm over here serenading you, and you're going to think about whatever.
And I'm thinking about food.
Just
Did you cook
rude.
for me instead of
It's
singing
just
to me?
rude.